Hello, my name is Elijah Hotanimola, and I want to welcome you to this week's edition of the talk show. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so glad to have you join me again. As you know, on the show, we discuss on issues related to relationship, marriage, and lifestyle. Last week, we dealt with the subject mastering road transitions, and I'm so glad to receive testimonies from various scholars of how the message was a blessing to many. And I trust and I'm convinced that as you continually act on the truth relayed in that message, you will be able to enjoy the ideal in your relationship. I mean, God's ideal in your relationships and in your marriages. I want you to understand that the main goal of this show is for us to bridge the gap between the realities of our lives and the ideal of God for our lives. So many people are experiencing realities that are far from God's ideal in their relationships, in their marriages, in their lifestyle. And that is why this show is set up to help us bridge that gap such that our realities, our new realities, can be the ideal of God. And our realities can be transformed into the ideal of God. One thing that we must understand is that the ideal of God is that we enjoy quality relationships. The ideal of God is that we enjoy heaven on earth marriage, nothing less, nothing short of that. And that is why I believe that as you follow through with the series that we'll be discussing and other things that are applicable, I believe that you will be able to experience and enjoy that ideal. On this week's edition, I'll be dealing with another very important subject. I believe that this subject is vital if and foundational if we will be able to enjoy that ideal of God in our marriages. That is, if we enjoy heaven on earth marriage. I'll be dealing with the subject live to cleave. And the book of Genesis chapter number 2, verse number 24, the Bible says, for this cause a man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife. That word cleave simply means shall embrace. It simply means he shall be united with his wife. And that is foundational because that is one of the foundational words. In fact, the first word that God spoke to the man after he brought the woman to him. And that means that that word is very foundational if we enjoy the ideal of God. God must have thought of the best way for the man to actually enjoy his ideal. That is why he gave that instruction. And that is what we are going to look at today. Uh, One of the most scary concerns of single ladies, especially, is the influence of their parent-in-law on their marriages, the influence of third parties, especially their parent-in-law on their marriages. In fact, those days I could remember there are ladies that almost wish and pray that their parent-in-law won't be alive when they get married to their husband, especially their mother-in-laws. And really, you can't really blame them because there have been a lot of wrong influence from that quarters in many homes. In fact, there are so many marriages that the major problem they are having now is that influence, that wrong influence. And I believe that the man actually has a very important role to play in this. And that is linked to this foundational instruction that God gave to man even in the beginning, which is live to cleave. Now, one of the very important thing that every man needs to understand, especially husbands, is that when God said live to cleave, it means that we should live financially, live emotionally, live psychologically. I understand that we have grown with this parents for a long time and they have had a lot of influence on our lives. But as time goes on, it is necessary for us to build a home for ourselves. It is necessary for us to build a new legacy even for ourselves. And that is why it's very important for us to live and cleave to the woman that we have planned and we have had in mind to build this new future with. One of the mistakes and one of the misconceptions that many husbands have that has not helped them in this regard is that most men only understand the authority side of leadership. We on Last week I talked about the position that the man takes in the that the man takes in the family, in the marriage institution, which is the leadership position. But most men don't understand that this leadership position don't just go with the authority side. There are three basic sides of leadership, and that's the authority side, the responsibility side, and the accountability side. And if you enjoy if you will be a good leader, a leader that is worthy of emulation, you must embrace these three sides. However, many men, many husbands, they only understand the authority side, which is the side of giving out instructions, teaching out instructions, being the head, giving instructions. They don't understand that they have the responsibility, especially to watch over their wives, not just to provide for them, but also to protect them. So many men, they don't protect their wives, especially from third parties, including their parents. You have the responsibility to protect your wife from the from ridicule. You have the responsibility to protect your wife from the pressures that might be mounted on you by your parents, or mounted on them by your parents. You have the responsibility to protect them from every form of embarrassment. You have the responsibility to protect their dignity, even if they did something obviously wrong. You have the responsibility to protect their self-image in the public. You have the responsibility to protect their self-worth. You have the responsibility to protect their self-value. You know, we in this part of the world, especially the Yoruba tribe, we have some funny traditions. You know, when a man gets married to a woman, they believe that that woman is automatically meant to be answerable to every member of the family, including the way younger ones. I mean, the ones that are far way younger than the woman in age, especially when they are the male, when it's a male child. They believe that that woman is supposed to be answerable to them. Anybody can send her on errand. In fact, they expect that the woman should respect even the youngest of the family that is way younger than the woman. However, it is absurd, because this same tradition that actually upholds respect for elders and the rest, when it comes to the wife of the family, they believe that the the tide needs to turn. Now it's not the other way around. You have to respect the younger ones. You know, they expect that you call the someone that is actually the person is maybe you took like 10 years, you have a 10 years difference gap, and they expect that, oh, you should call the person brother, while the person be like the father of the house and the baba of the house and all the rest. And they expect that the wife, they assume that the wife is automatically the wife of everyone. So that means that the interpretation of their wife is actually a subordinate person, or someone that is inferior in the family. And I put it to you as a man that you have the responsibility to protect your wife from such. You have the responsibility. We have to understand that the way we carry our wives, that is the way they will see them. The way you present your wife, that is the way people will actually address them. If you present her as royalty, they will address her as royalty. They will treat her as royalty. If you present her as a slave, they will use her as a slave. You pay a visit to your family house, and everybody is sending your wife on errand, and you sit down with the TV and you are laughing. That's a disgrace. You should be able to take your stand. I'm not saying that when you go there, she doesn't help around and things like that. That is normal. That is what a responsible wife would do. But when it comes to she is doing all the house chores in the house, and they abandon everything for her because she's now the wife, that is absurd. You should take up your responsibility and stand your ground and say, no, my wife cannot do that. Because on the long run, she's your wife. And whatever happens to her health is your responsibility. You are accountable to God concerning her life. And you must understand that. She will be the one to cook. She'll be the one to serve everybody. In fact, she'll be the one to pack their plates, even the ones that are far younger. And she'll be the one to wash the dishes. Why? Because she's a wife. It is your responsibility to protect her. That shows that you are living to cleave. You protect her no matter what. You know, there's another funny tradition, especially in this same part of the world, where they believe that every wife in the family is automatically a caterer. I mean, they are automatically caterers when they are about to do any family ceremony. Every wife, they have to do that. So when there's a wedding ceremony, when there's a burial ceremony, every wife in the family, they turn to automatic caterers. And the husbands, most of the husbands, they will just sit down, be gisting and be laughing and doing all sort of things. I'm telling you, that's I find it ridiculous. Our mothers, the old generation, they can do that. They were used to that. They were brought up like that. They don't have anybody to stand for them. But this generation, we have a lot of things that have created dynamism in all these things. A lot of our wives are career women. A lot of our wives are civilized and things like that. Now, it's not the matter of whether they don't have the money or not. It's because of this tradition. Now, I expect that as the man, you don't follow that tradition, because if you want to enjoy your wife, if you want to enjoy the best from her, you should be able to say, oh, we are having a wedding, then how much will it cost us to get a caterer? Your wife shouldn't turn to automatic caterer, and in the party you are wearing the fine clothes and she's at the backside of the whole event, cooking and running extra skater dirty all over. That's not done. And at the end of the day, when you get back to your base, she's sick, or even if she's not sick, you want to even have your way with her again, and she's getting annoyed. She's flaring up and things like that, and you say, what's wrong with you? You should perform your wifely role. My dear, you have not performed your own husband role. You should protect her. You should defend her. You should present her as royalty. You should make her see that actually you carry her in high esteem. The way you carry her determines the way people will carry her. She doesn't need to speak up. She doesn't need to say no to those things. You should be able to, you be the one to say no to those things on her behalf. That's the first thing and foundational. Another thing, after you have understood your responsibility side, which is another side of living to cleave, another side that shows that you need to live to cleave is the aspect of being developing a sense of independence. You must develop a sense of independence. I mean, in taking decisions. While we're growing up as a child, our parents take decisions for us. But as we advance in life, we need to understand that we need to develop this sense of independence. So many countries, their age of maturity is 18 years. And that shows, and what that means is that at that particular age, you are expected to have a level of maturity such that whatever decision you take at that age, you are accountable for such decisions. So they hold you accountable no matter where the influence of that decision comes from. They hold you accountable for whatever decision you make. So you need to develop a sense of independence even before you get married. And if you are married already, develop that sense of independence. It's not everything that you take to your parents and expect that they give you they make the decisions for you. You need to develop a sense of independence to make decisions for yourself. I am not saying that you don't take suggestions from them. I'm not saying that you don't listen to their wise counsels, but I'm saying that on the long run, you should be the one to independently with your wife take the decisions. This is one of the reasons. A lot of wives, this is the problem they're having with their husbands. It is their parents, the husband's parent, that is taking decision in their marriage. And it's getting frustrating. They are frustrated in the marriage. You need to man up, live to cleave. A sense of independence in taking decisions. You need to have that. You need to develop that. You need to cultivate that. Now, another thing is this. After you have, apart from developing a sense of independence, what also shows that you are living or you have left to cleave is the fact that your wife now, when you are married, your wife now takes the highest priority in your life. That she becomes the most important woman personality to you. I'm not saying your parents are not important. But as far the moment you get married, your wife takes that highest priority. Your parents must have been the person with the people with the highest priority before. But the moment you get married, that woman takes the highest priority in your life, the most important human personality to you. The Bible illustrates the husband, the relation between the husband and the wife, such that the husband is the head and the wife is the body. Now that means that the closest person to the head is the body. So any other person outside that one figure, the wife, the head and the body, they are external. So when you are happy in your mind, when you have emotions and things like that, the first part that feels this is your body, is not the other party. That's how it works. So when you are happy, when you get promotion in your place of work, the person that crosses the first person that should cross your mind is your wife to celebrate with. It's not your parents. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. And there could be an exception to there's an exception to this basically, because there's times that these things happen because the wives have not they are not also fulfilling their part of this leave to cleave. Now, if your husband cannot trust you with confidential matters, perhaps you have betrayed his trust severally. I mean, your mouth is too loose. You are a talkative. Everything you have to say. You don't know when to pause. You don't know when to stop. You just say it. That man cannot confide in you anymore because he has seen the danger of your looseness. And that's why you have to shut that mouth. That's one of the qualities you must develop. It's not just slaying around. I'm not against slaying. Wear good clothes. I put on good ones myself. What I'm saying is this: you must, if that is happening, maybe why your husband have not taken you as the most highest, I've not given you that highest priority in his life, is because he has tested you with secrets and you have betrayed that trust. Now, wisdom tells him that he should be more sensitive subsequently. Anyway, I'm not dealing with the women today. That will be next week. But I want to talk to the men today. Now, apart from that, another thing you need to develop is this. You need to understand the structure. I talked about structure last week, and you need to understand structure. Structure in relation to third parties, your parents especially. The moment you get married in that institution, you take the decisive role, your wife takes the suggestive role in that marriage institution. Every other third party also takes suggestive role. Everyone, including your parents, including your most referred person in your life, they take suggestive roles. You know why? Because when it all boils down to all, God will ask you for accountability, not them. Because the moment you get married, God expects a level of maturity from you. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. You need to understand this. So when your parents takes a suggestive role, they suggest things to you. It's not the other way around. They don't take decisions for your family. And you must understand this. Let me give you a wisdom. Because there could be wives that have had prejudice concerning their parent-in-law and things like that, and they don't even want to hear anything from their parent-in-law, basically. That could have been done due to so many things in time past. I will deal with that next week. But if that is the case, and you know that your wife has prejudice concerning your parents and you want to take suggestions from them, after you have taken suggestions from them and you want to bring it to your marriage, don't tell your wife that it's coming from your parents. Just make it like it's coming from you, so that she can have a more open mind towards that suggestion. Because if she already had a prejudice concerning your parents earlier, and you are saying that this suggestion is coming from your parents, most likely, even though that suggestion is the best suggestion you can ever have, she will turn it down. She will fight against it. So when you bring it as coming from you, she will have an open mind to say, oh, okay, I think this suggestion is good. I think this opinion is good. I think we should go with this and things like that. And you can consider it and make the good decision with that. Now, another thing you need to understand with living to cleave is this. When you understand that structure and put your parents in that suggestive role, it shows that you have left to cleave. If you have not done that, if your parents are still taking decisions for your family, for your marriage, it shows that you have not left to cleave, and you must live to cleave in order to enjoy the ideal of God for your home. Another thing I'll talk about is, if you have not left your parents to cleave to your wife will not be free to be vulnerable with you. And I'm telling you, one of the most important aspects of love and marriage is vulnerability. Being able to be vulnerable with your partner. Being able to share your weaknesses. Being able to, without being afraid, without being scared of being exposed. Being able to share your mistakes. Being able to share your fears. And without being afraid that these secrets will leak out. The moment your wife knows that everything that goes on in your family, you have to divulge to your parents or any third party, she will crawl into a shell. And if she does that, what you have done is this: you have successfully developed or created the most unpredicted person you can ever meet in life. And you know the most dangerous part? That most unpredicted person is now the closest person to you. That is the most dangerous part. So she can do and undo. And that is why you must live to cleave. Let your wife feel that let her have a sense that there's privacy in your marriage. In fact, some people, I don't understand. Some people can even go to the extent of telling their parents how their wives perform in bed and things like this. So disgusting. And you have to develop that. There must be a privacy. See, one of the most admirable thing about this marriage institution is privacy. People love it. Couples want that. Why do you think we go for honeymoon and want to separate from people? It's for privacy. To be able to express our vulnerabilities without being afraid, without being scared. And you must maintain that privacy. I'm not saying that you don't take suggestions from people, but you must maintain a level of privacy, a reasonable level of privacy. And if for any reason your private or secret affairs, whatever you have going on in your marriage, will ever be out, it must be that you have agreed together to let it out. Or in the rarest of extreme, perhaps you need help. And your wife is not cooperating, or your partner is not cooperating, and you need help to salvage that marriage. Those are the only exceptions. But you must develop that privacy. Now, the point is, if you have successfully made your wife crawl into that shell, am I saying that you should leave that wife or divorce that wife because you are not enjoying her anymore? No. You need to man up. You need to develop that sense of independence. She must see it consistently that you have actually left to cleave to her. When she has seen it consistently that now this man has now developed a sense of independence, that is now being responsible to keep the privacy of their home, gradually she crosses out of that shell. I'm not saying I cannot predict the duration with which she will crawl out completely, but I'm telling you, you need to keep to it. And I'm so assured that if that woman is still with you, then she still loves you. The only thing is that she cannot afford to risk her privacy with you anymore. Yeah, let me just give a quick tip to our women that are facing this particular challenge in their home. If you realize that your husband has not been keeping the privacy of your home and divulging everything to his parents, I will advise that you talk to him, communicate, tell him how you feel, tell him what that does to you. Just express yourself, but in a submissive way so that he can actually understand. Another thing is, please pray for him. Pray for him. Yes, I believe there's nothing that prayers cannot do. And another thing is this: be sensitive of the things you will divulge going forward. Be sensitive to the things you will relate to him. Anything you don't want out, be careful and cautious of telling him. if at all you will tell him, pending the time that you have seen that he has developed that sense of independence. And finally, make yourself happy. Don't be sad. Just choose to be happy. Choose to be happy. It's your responsibility to be happy. Choose to be happy. And finally, on this subject today, to the men, I will say that live to cleave, to embrace the person of your wife. When you have left to cleave, you embrace our person. Don't compare your wife to your mother. Don't say this is how my mother used to cook a stew. That's when you consistently say that and constantly says that, it is annoying to her. There will be a point or a time that she will say, oh, I think you should go and call that your mother to come and be your wife. And when you get to that point, otinte, that means in English, you are getting to the point of ridicule. So you must understand this. Let her be her. If at all you need to improve, she needs to improve on her cooking skill or whatever, please do that without involving or comparing your mother with her. Please, that will help your marriage. And also to the women too, don't compare your husband to your father. He is not your father, I mean biological father. If you need him to adjust on something, don't bring your father into it. Tell him like he's coming from you. Just like the man too should tell the woman like it's coming from him. And the woman too should be receptive to such corrections. Just in summary, embrace the person of your wife. That shows that you have left to cleave to her. Whatever improvement she needs to make, do that independently without comparing her to your mother or to anybody or any third party. That will help your marriage. That will keep the sanity of your marriage. I trust that if you are able to consider these things, understanding that you have a responsibility side in your leadership, developing a sense of independence, making her the person of the highest the highest priority in your life, that is the most important human personality to you, understanding that your parents now take the suggestive role and every other party takes the suggestive role, and also being developing being able to create an atmosphere with which she can be vulnerable with you, and finally embrace our person without comparison. I believe that you'll be able to enjoy the ideal of God for your marriage, which is heaven on earth marriage. And as you act on this, I trust that the power of God and the power and the Holy Ghost will help you, such that it will transform the reality of your life, of your marriage presently, into the ideal that God has ordained for your marriage. Next week, I'll be talking to women, ladies, married and single, and our parents on the perspective of this particular or this same subject, their own role, the way they are expected to act in regards to this subject, and that will be a great time. You don't want to miss that. Thank you for joining in this week's edition. I hope to see you next week, and I say God bless you, and please stay safe. Bye for now.